tell me about your first gig.
My first gig.
First gig.
I was like 16. I had been playing for 3 months or something like that.
Right.
So it was like these half-assed covers of Metallica and the like. It didn't go that bad because, you know, high school kids at the time,
right,
we weren't just wanting to party and rock out.
Right.
Since Kirk Hammett did use a lot of flaw, I exaggerated that so people would notice the horrible amount of mistakes I was obviously doing and horribly intonated bands and stuff like that. I did start out seriously though, about a year after I had stopped playing.
Okay.
Yeah. But then again, I was the kind of guy that, you know, for pleasure alone, would just shut myself in a room and be practicing for like 11 hours in a row, and it wouldn't feel like a chore or a responsibility of any ilk.
Right.
So about a year and a half after that, I started, you know, doing covers gigs and stuff like that, and started working in sessions when I was 19.
All right. Now, guitar your first instrument then, or just start on something else early on?
Yeah, I started with the piano, and my passion for the piano was like surgically removed by classical teaching methods, because I was always a tinkerer at heart.
Right.
I wanted to know, why does a certain melody work this way?
Right,
so what am I doing here? What should I use to build a melody over these chords?
Right.
And theory in that sort of setting, and that sort of approach is really detached from practice.
Right.
On a large amount, and that did frustrate me. I mean, I got to the point where I was playing Liszt and Chopin and all that, and I couldn't understand what I was doing, and that was even more frustrating because I had developed some level of technical skill.
Right.
And I didn't know what I was doing other than a mechanical component.
Okay.
So I got fed up with that, and I left the piano, and then I saw Zach Wells play guitar.
Yeah.
And I was in like this sort of catatonic state, looking at the TV just like this. And by the time it was all over, my friend Jeff comes in the living room and asks me, "Sam, I'm right." I'm like, "Screw the piano, this is what I want to do."
Right.
That's what I did. I saved for 6 months for my first electric guitar.
Nice.
Didn't even have a cup of coffee. Didn't work too well for the first couple months.
Yeah. Cool. And then just tell me how the progression went from playing the regular one to, you know, actually starting doing extended range guitars.
Actually, it was a mix of several things, because the first 7 I had, I bought it in like 94, if memory serves me right. It was a Green Dot's Universe. She's ugly as all hell, but she does sound wonderful. And I was interested in it. What brought it to my attention was actually Dream Theater's album Awake, and watching Steve Vai play one. And I was like, first, you know, what seduced me was the whole chugga you were getting out of it.
Right.
And I got one, and I did that for like a couple months, and, you know, started working with transposing songs down and adding more intervals to the structure of the song to have use the lower tuning as a way to get heavier songs going and whatnot. And then all of a sudden I started looking at it and I was like, look, I've got so many chord possibilities with the 6th string and stuff like that. Why not expand on this? And I found that it was a great method of getting rid of the clutter that some chord voicings tend to have on the 6th string. Why? Because you can just spread them out a little bit further.
Right.
And you have them sound. You have like this inversion, like, you know, when you invert the 9th on that, it's pretty much like when you're playing the sus2 chord on the 6th string, right?
Right.
You just add the 9th above, and it sounds like something completely different because there's a lot more space.
Right.
There's a lot more remaining of the original triad.
Right.
So it actually adds like a subtle flavor to it all. And this sort of stuff I started experimenting with, and that's how I ended up feeling more comfortable on the 7th string. Even scale runs and arpeggios are far more intuitive when you have the string to complete the octave, as opposed to do, you know, the typical sweep pattern in which you're humping from the 5th to the roots in order to get the odds and evens right. And so it got just crept in to the point that I started feeling a bit castrated when I was playing a 6th string after a certain point.
You know, I play a 6th string bass, so yeah, going back to a 4, you're just like, okay, I'm missing a lot.
Yeah, especially that feel around the neck.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And where is the rest?
Where did it go?
Where did you put the rest of my guitar?
Yeah, I'd usually sit there like, all right, I can go down to an E flat. No, I can't. I'm on a 4 string.
Yeah, that part is indeed not that nice. But I mean, that's plenty of possibilities on the 6th string.
Oh yeah.
Simply put, I'm just really used to the extended range instruments, and plus my songs don't really fit the 6th string anymore.
Right.
They never did actually. There isn't a single song of mine I can think of off the top of my head that fits this instrument.
Right.
So, because I'm really hopping all over the place and using really different keys, and usually the entire fretboard is used in the whole thing. So that just doesn't fit. Nothing against it, of course. Although I throw the ukulele jokes all over the place. Like, this is a guitar, it's got 7 strings on it. That's an ukulele. It's cool to start out, you know, going. Then like, it's just a matter of preference. There's nothing. Cool. It's not an alien instrument.
Right. Cool. Last thing, why don't you give me a little happy anniversary GHS kind of thing, since it is our 50th year.
Yeah, actually, can you imagine? I just found out as soon as I got here and saw the 50th anniversary sign. I was like, really?
Yeah.
Well, definitely keep up the good work. You've been keeping me going out on stage for years now. Many years now. So. Cool. Truth of the matter is, it's something I started buying because they were cheap for what you were getting, and they actually worked great and lasted longer. And they have one thing that I truly love, which is you guys don't market your strings with fluff like hammered by Thor himself, and steel welded by Zeus on top of Mount Olympus. And that's something I truly appreciate. It's a down-to-earth company that sells functional, really good products.